Hey Streets, let me tell you about this cool app that we've been using to help us along our podcast journey. So it's called Anchor and it's just really cool. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And also, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so you don't have to worry about that part. You'll be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more platforms, and Anchor will do it all for you. Also, you can make money from your podcast, and everything you need to make a podcast is all in one place. It's awesome. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. We'll see you there. Welcome to Chapter 30. I'm MissKay.
And I'm QueenTee.
This is a place for those women
and men
who feel that they have no one to talk to.
We're here. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoy the show. Hey, Streets. Welcome back.
Hey, Streets. Welcome back. It's MissKay.
And QueenTee back with another one.
Yes.
So we got something special for y'all on today. We have a guest with us. We have LuckyLefty from the Cashmere Podcast. Welcome, LuckyLefty.
Welcome. I'm excited to be here.
Yay.
So I'm excited to talk to two ladies. Let's have a good, interesting conversation. But I have not a bone to pick, but I do have questions for MissKay. There was a podcast I listened to, and you talked about a first date, and it was a really bad first date. And I personally need more details on this first date.
Ooh.
Like, did you not get a filet-o-fish?
That's it. That's the part. Okay, guys, he's talking about dating, right? The episode dating.
Yeah.
QueenTee. Okay. He's talking about that, and we talked about our best dates, our worst dates. That's the issue. Like, as I mentioned in the story, we couldn't go to the movies. I get it. Financial. Totally understand. I'm not sure why he didn't check that out before we left, but that's okay. But as far as the McDonald's, you got the 2 for $4. Like, why can't I get one?
That's where I'm at with it. Like, he didn't even be like, damn. He go, a quarter pounder, a McDouble,
exactly.
a 10-piece chicken nugget, like nothing.
That was my issue. Like, I swear, that's what made it bad. Like, I know it wasn't like the worst date on the planet, but all I'm saying is, if you're gonna go to McDonald's and you're gonna turn to the the drive-through and talk to the person in order, at least look over and say, "You getting something?" Like, at least give me the option to pay for my own something. Like, he got the 2 fish fillets and he held them. I didn't get anything. So that was just my issue.
That's messed up. Like, all the way.
Yeah, I heard that when I was like, this is podcast gold right here. Like, he got 2 filet-o-fishes and didn't share one. Like,
exactly.
I mean, I understand the struggle, but if I take you to McDonald's, I feel like, get what you want. It's McDonald's.
Right. Would you do that though? Like, would you, like, first of all, like, the whole money situation, has it ever happened to you before where you take someone on a date and maybe your account wasn't what you thought it was?
No. For me, and it's not to say that I'm like some type of debonair or anything of that nature, but I'm a planner. So I know usually if there's a date planned, at least a couple of days ahead of time, I'm already checking these things out to make sure that my money's where it needs to be. If I feel like there may be some type of discrepancy, I'm going to take the cash out so I have cash in hand so that whatever needs to go on can go on. And I'm also pretty creative, generally speaking, so I feel like I could plan an amazing date on a very small budget.
Right. QueenTee, we talked about that, right? Like, dates that don't cost much.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. And my thing is, you shouldn't be dating if you can't afford it anyway.
This is very true. But
that's a whole nother subject, though.
See, and just really quick, because I know we got things to talk about, but really quick on that, that's a double-edged sword. Because it's like, yes, if you can't, quote unquote, afford to date, then yeah, you shouldn't date. But at the same time, companionship is something that we all crave it. So it's like, I might not have the finances that I want to have someone around me, but it's like, if she's really for me or he's really for me, then I have to still go out on that limb. So it's a double-edged sword.
Absolutely. I feel like connection is something that you can't help, and if it's there, it's there.
True.
But I feel like you should be actively going out to pursue people if you can't afford it. You know what I mean? If somebody comes along that you can't help that attraction and you're not financially there, okay, I understand that. But if you know you got $2 in your bank account, then you should be out there, pursuing people.
Man, look, if you only got that much, a walk in the park, a picnic at the lake, like it's ways around it.
There's options.
And we definitely mentioned those. We mentioned those in that episode. Like,
yeah, you guys did.
You can be creative. But do you guys think like a woman can date if she's not all the way together? What do you guys think about that? Or
do women have to be together to date?
That's the question.
I know that's what I'm asking you guys.
Financially,
like it's like one of those things like where a woman, and this is, I hope it doesn't come out wrong, but it's like a woman, generally speaking, maybe the first 5 or 6 dates at the very least, it's like a woman isn't really gonna pay for much of anything.
Right.
She's just really bringing herself, her good looks, her personality, her charm, those things. And it's like a guy has to have the financial backing to properly date, whereas a woman just got to show up.
T.
Yes.
Is this a Southern thing? Like, is this because he's from where he's from? Because you know how it is, like, up here. Do you think dating is different depending on where you are? Because I feel like that's how it should be. But I feel like sometimes guys don't think like that. Like, they want, I don't know. It's sticky. But do you think it's like a location thing, or do you think it's just overall?
No, I don't think it's a location thing, because I've met the opposite where they were from, up north, and they're speaking the same way that Lucky's speaking. You know what I mean? And I've met people down here that are speaking the opposite of what he's speaking. So I don't think it's a location thing. I think it's an upbringing thing. I think it's an environmental thing. Experience. I think there's different variables that have to do with it, and there's a lot. Okay, I'm not going to speak for the men. Well, I'll save that for the for the rest of the podcast. But no, I don't think it's location. I think it's just there's a lot of different other variables. What do you think?
I think I just meet the wrong people for the most part, because that could be a part of it. No shade, but I don't know. I feel like the upbringing is definitely true. I guess like if they're being raised to like like it's a woman, you should court her. But I don't know, because that's sticky too, because people say like you women want to be independent, but then you want to be courted. Like, which one is it? So
well, and I'm gonna chime in on this part because I feel like it's a lot of different variables to it. Yes, I'm from the South. I'm from Tennessee. So there is a bit of Southern charm to it, but also, as you were just saying, MissKay, it's like women, and this is just generally speaking, women have this ideal of they want to be independent and they want to be courted and all this. And I feel like you can want both. You can want more than one thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So when I hear guys say things like, she got to pick one, it's like, bro, you do 15 different things. You're versatile. Why can't she be versatile too? Like, yes, she has areas in her life where she wants to be independent, where she can take care of it, but she may have these traditions and values to be like, okay, I want a man to do these things. Now, with it being 2019, I think that, so I don't believe in most traditions. I feel like traditions are just, like, traditions are made to be changed. Like, we have to go and evolve. We can't be stuck in what our grandparents done because we don't live the same lives our grandparents lived. So it's like there has to be some level of increase with that, some level of growth, some level of evolution with that, because it's not 1967 where women don't really work a lot and a man does all these things. A man's a breadwinner, because I mean, these days women, in some cases, make just as much as men.
Right.
So it's a balance.
Keyword balance. Yep.
Yes. Well, I feel like we kind of went deep already, but I want to scale back a little bit because I do want the streets to know who you are, Lucky.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want them to know about your podcast. So before we go any deeper, give the streets a little bit of background of you and your podcast and why you chose the Chapter 30 podcast to be a guest on.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm a fan. I'm gonna just start there. I'm a fan.
Thank you.
I am a fan of the podcast. Like, I'm not one of those people who just, skims through. Like, I'm a fan of this craft, and yes, I'm a part of it, but I listen to a lot of different things. Like, I'm a fan of other people. I believe in, the fact that there's enough for everybody. So I'm not one of those, I only listen to my own thing. No, iron sharpens iron. Like, that's one of my hashtags I use a lot on Instagram. It's like, when I'm shouting out on the podcast, iron sharpens iron. Like, I can only get better if the people around me are getting better. If we're all stuck in the same spot, then what are we doing? But beyond that, once again, I'm LuckyLefty the Great, one half of the illustrious Cashmere Thoughts Podcast. You can catch us on all major podcast platforms. My partner in crime and my co-defendant, Winnie, he couldn't be with us today, but he and I, we're building something great, and we are on the verge of pushing this thing forward. We believe there is healthy competition, and so the only way that you can get better is by working with the people. It's a network. We should all be trying to work together. Right. Like, this ain't rap music. Like, there's no beef. It ain't no like, it's not that. Not to me. So, but yeah, and whenever you guys get a chance, as far as the listeners, give us a listen. Like, we talk about everything from manhood to families to political things somewhat, and we get crazy. We had an episode we talked about like randoms. So we talk about everything. So if you want, that insight from two polar opposites in men, check us out.
How long have you guys been podcasting?
We started our pod back at the end of 2018, like around early November.
Wow. And how's the experience been for you guys so far?
Oh my goodness. It's been a journey. I'll start there. It's been a journey. We, of course, like the first few episodes, you got to get your footing and things like that. At this point where we are now, we're hitting our stride. We're getting our everything together, and like the content is showing because we bounce off of each other at this point, effortless.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, I will say I listened to a few episodes. The first episode, I don't know why, but the first episode I started off with was Jody, my Jody.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Wow. Okay.
I don't know. It was just random. Okay, let me check out this one.
That wasn't my best day.
What? Really?
Yeah. Like, well.
Why do you say
that? I revealed a little bit too much about myself that I really wanted to. Like, I kind of.
Oh, there's never too much on podcasts.
That's what they say, but I kind of told on myself a little bit.
But I will say that I'm personally a fan as well. Like, MissKay will tell you, like, after I listened to that episode, I hit her up like, yo, this is gold. Like,
Thank you.
I really felt like I was listening to the male versions of me and MissKay.
That's a dope compliment. Thank you.
Oh, no problem. I'm very much one of those people that you were talking about earlier that only listens to our own podcast. But it has to be good content, you know what I mean, for me to really listen to it and be engaged.
Right.
And I really feel like Cashmere Thoughts was one of those where I'm like, oh, okay, I can listen to another episode.
Right.
You know. MissKay, what are your thoughts?
I love their podcast. Like, and I'm the opposite. I like to listen to podcasts, and then I hit T up like, T, you gotta listen to this one. It's good. Like, so I kind of will listen to it. I'm like, I listen to, this podcast, another podcast, and it was all right, but I'm gonna keep listening to it. So I enjoy listening to podcasts, and I really enjoy the Cashmere Thoughts podcast. If you want like that insight, like he said, from like a male or like Mel's perspective, like that's the podcast to listen to. It's really raw. Their flow is good. I enjoy it. It doesn't feel forced. It just feels like you're in the room with them, just, a part of the conversation. I think that's an important factor in podcasts. So,
well, man, thank you guys so much. And that's something that we try to do. We try to make it just conversational. A lot of times we just literally just go in and talk. Like, we'll have a base topic and we just come from the heart with it. We just, feel like I said, with that Jody, my Jody episode, like, I feel like I talk too much sometimes. And of course, like after that pod, I got like phone calls and texts from people who are listening, like, oh, so you were doing that?
Oh, that's how you feel.
Yeah, right. That's how you roll. Like,
see, and that's what I can't do. Like, I feel like I'm gonna ask y'all both. Like, how, from a scale from 1 to 100, like, how open do you think you are on your podcast? For me, I feel like I'm like a 60. Like, I just be I hold back. Like, I have to admit, I hold back a lot. But what about you guys? Like, are y'all at 100 yet?
I'll let you go first, see.
I'd say I'm maybe about 80. Just because that's my personality. Like, I'm just I'm just like that regardless. I don't really hold back much. But I don't think I'll ever be at 100 just for other people's safety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I do.
Because it's not just me involved. Like, the things I'm talking about, there's other people involved. So I don't think I'll ever be 100, like, you know, shouting out names and be like, oh, at this time this happened. But I'm gonna always be real. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna speak my truth.
Right.
But for the safety of others, I'll get to 85, 90.
Yeah. Now, for me, I'm about 90. But I'm gonna preface it with this. In real life, I am an introvert. I don't talk. I stay to myself a lot, but it's something about when the microphone comes on, I gotta talk. There's something I gotta say. And people who know me, they were like, dude, I would never imagine you doing a podcast. You don't talk. But when I say when the mics come on, I talk and I speak freely. I think that's what makes it so authentic, because I speak freely. I come from the heart. Now, I say 90% because I tell stories. If anybody listens to our podcast, I tell stories quite often. Usually my stories are not painting me in the best light. And so I try my best to protect names and whatnot. Now, I do talk about, I was engaged at one time in my life, so I talk about that a lot because I know she'll never listen to this podcast. Like, she'll never listen. So I've never said her name either. So it's like, but, you know, it's one of those things. But yeah, I give about 90%. I give 90.
But you know what? Like, when you're talking, I do hear Winnie, like, he'll be asking you personal questions. If you don't want to answer it, you won't. You be like, nah, you're gonna get me in trouble. Like, you will, like, I think you know your limit.
Like, it's certain things. Like, and like I said, we don't discuss these things beforehand. So it's certain things I'd be like, hey man, I can't answer that one. But it doesn't happen as often as I wish it does, because going back sometimes I'm like, I should have kept my mouth closed on that one.
Right. And that's the worst feeling. So, Streets, I don't want y'all to think like I'm not being me. This is me, but it's kind of like the watered down version. So those that know me in person, like, y'all know how I am. Like, I feel like I'm an introvert as well, but like, I feel like to the people that I'm really close to, I'm really open. Like, I talk all the time.
Right.
But you know, like, once we turn on this, it's just like I'm a lot scaled back, and people have noticed it, and they told us like, yo, actually, I'm holding back. Like, what's going on? So I mean, this is the disclaimer.
Good for those.
Right. So yeah, I enjoy you guys' pods too. Like, you have really good chemistry. Like, you guys, I would take it, like, I have 6 sisters, no brothers. So I've been privy to having like all sisters. So I've been privy to hearing just women talk, girls talk. And it comes off like just 2 of my sisters having a conversation. And I'm like, I don't really want to hear this shit. But at the same time, it's like, I can't stop listening. Like I said, you guys have, you know, the content is what really started drawing me in. I'm like, okay, the topic's like, oh, this is pretty interesting. And like I said, I'm a man, so I'm one of those men who I really, really, you know, pay attention to a woman's point of view on things, just not only to be a better, you know, individual, or I guess kind of get the scoop, so to speak, but just to, you know, it's just good insight. Like, I feel like, honestly, women have better conversations than men, generally speaking. Like, women,
really?
Yes, like, and this is, you know, including my pod, like, yeah, we have great conversations, but it's just certain things that we just almost cannot really touch on, just for the simple fact that, you know, we're men.
Name one of them.
Like the love languages pod.
Oh, it's gonna get too gooey. It's gonna get like too like.
Yeah, like Winnie and I can't talk about no love languages. like it would just be, and it honestly, it might be an okay conversation, but it wouldn't be the same as if two women are discussing those things. Like, so it's one of those things. It's just that. So it's things like that where my mind, I consider myself pretty open-minded on things. And so I'm always looking for insight on things. I'm always looking to hear different perspectives, different point of views on things. And it's just like certain things, not to kind of stereotype or put into a box what men can talk about, but women are more comfortable talking about it. Let me say it like that.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's what it is. And I enjoy it because you guys talk about things that, like I said, as a man, I want to hear. And I'm pretty sure that because I want to hear them and I grew up with all women, that most women want to hear those things too. Yeah.
So speaking of love languages, after listening to that episode, did you look up what your language was?
Well, I already knew what my love languages were.
Oh, what is your love language?
Well, there's a tie. So words of affirmation and physical touch, those are my love languages. Like, pour into me. I'm like that does it for me. Pour into me. Like and with that, it's like I always tell people, like, I believe in mutual thirst. Like, I understand that women want to be chased, but damn it, I want to be chased too. Like, run after me a little bit too. Make me feel like you want to be a part of this just as much as you want me to be a part of what you have going on.
Right.
So those things, like I said, so it's words of affirmation and physical touch. It doesn't have to be sexual. Just rub my arm, rub my bald head, touch my beard, like just things like that. Like, it makes me feel like you want me. And like I said, it doesn't have to always be like, I want you in a sexual manner. Just like, I like you. I'm interested. So those are my love languages.
Nice.
So I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Miss K on that episode.
Okay.
Are there any of the love languages that you feel would be kind of a turn off for you?
A turn off?
Yeah.
Probably receiving gifts.
Yeah, I think we said the same thing.
Probably receiving gifts. And it's not that I don't want the gifts, but it's just like, I don't want to feel like you're trying to buy my affection or my love. Like that's where I'm at with that. Like, I don't want to feel like I'm being bought. Now, once again, that's not saying I don't appreciate it.
Right.
But when it gets to that point where I'm like, okay, that's enough. Like,
it's like, what's behind it? Like, why are you? Like, why are they doing it? Like,
right. Especially when I've expressed to you, hey, and I'm a person. I'll tell you, no, just pour into me and just touch me. That's all I need.
Okay, so what if their love language was receiving gifts, but they were able to love in your language as far as physical touch and words of affirmation?
Well, as far as that, I don't think that would be an issue if that's their love language. But that's one of those things, I guess, just as a man, and with it being a hot girl summer, that's one of those things. That's one of those things you got to kind of look at with the side eye. Like, is this really love language, or is she just trying to get $40 out of me?
Hot girl summer all 2019.
Right. It's just a hot girl year. So it's one of those things that just as a man, and I understand when men be like, I'm not, like you have to be leery, but you don't have to be so leery to the point where you are, shunning a woman who's interested in you if that's just legitimately her love language. If she's just like, I want to feel appreciated, and this is how I've been, taught to feel appreciated. Like, my dad spoiled me, my mom spoiled me, or whatever the case may be. So you have to have a level of understanding with it also.
Right, absolutely. I think we talked about that. If it goes a little bit too far left, yeah, you have to be just aware of that.
Yeah.
But, some people's love language is just gifts, and that's just what it is. There's no bad intent.
Right. It's not always malicious. Now, just quick story. Damn, I'm gonna tell a story on y'all podcast. So, like, this was maybe 10 years ago. I dated this woman, and because I was still kind of young and naive, and I thought that the way that I would, show my love for her was to buy gifts. And I did that. But on the flip side of that, like, I cheated all the time on that woman. But it was one of those things to where if I cheat, I knew she'd be okay if I bought her something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate. And even now, lots of people, men in particular, have that mindset of, oh man, I'm buying her stuff, I'm giving her money, and so it's cool. And then also with women, like, some women have come to accept that, like, well, he does this, but he buys me stuff. You know, he puts money in my pocket, like, and that has to change. We have to change that narrative just as people in general. Like you got to know what to accept. Like if that's what you're going to accept, then you can't. Don't come to me talking about you want a good man when you've accepted this trash.
Right.
It can't be both. Like if you're gonna take that, then you can't accept this.
That's a whole word. LuckyLefty.
Okay.
I'm ready for some tea because me and MissKay have been waiting and anticipating.
Oh wow.
Having a male guest. And we're just super excited to have you on here to represent for the fellas.
Okay.
And one of the things that have been on both of our minds is bro code / male intuition. So we'll get into both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But those are two of the main topics that we've really, really been wanting to discuss.
Right.
So, one, we just want to make sure this is a safe environment for you.
I'm good. I'm gonna give a disclaimer up front. I am not a snitch. So
see, that's the problem.
Right.
I am not a snitch. So I'll speak as freely as I possibly can.
Okay, and see that's the thing, because you guys are so open on your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Like we discussed collab, and we like, yeah, they the ones, because we need somebody that's gonna be open. Because we've had a few guys that we asked, like, yo, you want to come on a podcast? They're like, nah. Like they just, right, T? Like we've asked a few people, and they're just like, nah.
When they heard what the topic was, that's when they were like, oh, nah, I'm good. I don't got nothing to say on that one.
Nah.
Like, really? And it's so, we were talking about this the other day too, because women are so open to talk about girl code. Like, there's a whole show. Is it on like MTV or something called Girl Code?
Yeah, I think it is.
Like, there's books, shows. Like, we're so open about it. But dudes, it's like, we know about the bro code, but we don't know nothing about the bro code.
Right. And shout out to
We
our
know
last
it exists.
episode, Girl Code.
Huh?
I said shout out to our last episode, Girl Code.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go check that out. Like ASAP.
But yeah, like I said, let me catch y'all. So yeah, I'll give as much insight as I possibly can.
Listen, Lucky, your whole podcast you breaking bro code, so don't come over here trying to act good.
Exactly.
No.
That's our platform. I can do it on my platform. I can't go to someone else's house and sit, put my feet on the couch. That's rude.
This is a community though, so we family. So I mean, make yourself at home.
Okay. I tell you what. As long as I'm not going to incriminate anyone, I speak freely. Like I said, I can't snitch. So I'll speak freely, but when it gets to a point where I feel like I'm incriminating my fellow brethren, then I'm gonna be like, "Hey, let's change the subject." So, how's the weather there? Like,
you could plead the fifth if you need to.
Yes, I'll definitely ask you about the weather if I need to change the subject.
Okay, that's the code word.
Yeah, that's the code word. That's the word.
Say weather if it gets too crazy.
Yeah.
Done.
All right, here's my question for you.
Okay.
As I said before, women are so free to talk about the girl code, right? Why are men so protective of the bro code?
Oh, wow. I would say the protection comes from just that, like that whole don't snitch mentality. It's just one of those things where it's like, if you kind of give insight on it, especially a man giving insight to a woman on what the bro code is, then guys, generally speaking, feel like, oh, if I tell her this, then she's going to be in search of this from whoever she's currently dating or any man in the future that she's actually involved with because of something I told her that men may do here and there. So that's where it comes from. Like, men don't protect each other on much. When it comes to that bro code, it's a secret society.
For real.
Well, see, here's the thing. When it comes to girl code, our girl code is like, let's go to the bathroom together. Like, don't leave your, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's not really much to protect. So that's why when we hear that there's so much like secrets and it's so shady, we're like, well, what's going on over there? Why is it so?
Wait, I got a quick confession.
Ooh.
It goes down in the group chat.
Ooh.
Group chats are where it goes down at.
Huh?
group chats, male and female.
Exactly.
That's where it goes down.
It do, T. You know, T. There's messages that we have. We for girl code, but I think there's certain things that it can't come out.
You know what? You got a point. I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm.
It goes down in the group chats. Like,
that's a whole point, though. That's a word, right?
Like I said,
we got a secret.
Like I said, I have 6 sisters, so I think they sometimes forget that they have a brother in the group chat, and I'm like, man, I don't want to hear that. Like, that has nothing to do with me. Take me out of this. Yeah, so I'm privy to that, and just of course, just in life, I mean, in dating and whatnot, I know when women are over there gossiping because they hold their phone a little closer, and the giggles are just a little bit more. It's not like a giggle like I'm cheating on you, but it's like, oh, girl. Like, I'm like, okay, like they were talking about somebody, like something going on.
We have the biggest smiles on our face when we talking to our girls. Like, my coworkers are like, who are you talking to? Like, who is he? I'm like, girl, this is my girl. This is about the podcast. Like, ain't no dude. I swear, you're great. Just type it.
Yeah. That's a whole fact, though. Seriously, it is.
See that picture you just posted on Insta when you on your phone and you smiling outside your house? And I was like, who you on the phone with? He was like,
oh, yeah.
I mean,
and I'm pretty sure I was talking to you.
Yeah, it'd be like me and my gents. Our group chat. Ooh, it's lit. That's all I'm gonna say. It's lit. Like we have fun, and it's the thing because you can speak freely among your friends.
Right.
So we speak freely, like about any and everything, and once again, without snitching or giving out too much information. But yeah, the group chats, even a guy's group chat, like it gets lit.
Oh, it do. Y'all pictures are on there. Sorry, T.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I just said they be having pictures and everything in them.
Who be having pictures?
I seen a guy's group chat before, but say what you was gonna say, T.
I was just interested to know, like, what are some of the topics that go down in the group chat?
Oh man, that weather outside is crazy right now.
Okay. So another question then. Do y'all be smiling and stuff when y'all doing a group chat with the guys?
That's a tough one. That's a very tough one because it's like, men have this facade, I want to call it, where it's like there's no reason you should smile texting another man.
That's why I asked you.
It's like there's no reason 2 men should be texting and smiling.
Is that a bro code?
That's bro code. Like there's nothing that should be said to make me smile. Now a laugh is different from a smile. So if there's something that makes me laugh, that's different. But you should never say nothing that warms my heart to make me smile.
Oh, because you know what? I've seen this like probably in movies or like whatever, where like the guy is smiling and the girl's like, "Who are you talking to?" "Oh no, I'm just talking to Tyrone." Da, 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 da. So, thanks for letting me know that.
I mean,
he's smiling. It's a girl.
I'm not gonna say that. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. What I am saying is, in my group chat with my gents, there's never anything to make anyone smile. Like once again, a chuckle, even maybe a full-on laugh. But to me, a smile, like my daughter makes me smile. Like family. Things like that makes me smile. When I see like a child doing something that they're proud of, things like that make me smile. Mm-hmm. Something that my homeboy tells me, unless it's, take that back. If he says something like an accomplishment, like, "Hey man, I bought a house," or, we're pregnant or anything like that, then I might smile a little bit, but it's not going to be like the smile all day. Like I'm skipping and all that. It's not going to be that.
Okay. Oh, and Lucky.
Yo.
You only have 3 times to ask how the weather is. So you already
okay.
Used
Start.
it once.
No. Okay. let's call that a practice swing. So starting now, I get 3.
What you think, QueenTee?
Well, did he didn't use any yet, right?
He did with you.
That was a foul tip. That was a foul tip. It doesn't count. That one doesn't count.
When you asked him about
so he only has 2 left.
Got 2.
Okay. Let's do this. Give me 2 and a bonus. How about that?
He's our first guest. We
keep
could
recording for like 15 more minutes. I'm sure you'll be okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So I have a question.
Okay.
Let me open up my little notes.
Okay. You got notes.
I got 2 notes.
Okay.
Just 2. Okay. So QueenTee and I were discussing a few months ago how like women have grown to believe that they can pull the wool over men's eyes. But we learned the truth is y'all be knowing. We think that you guys have a detector for our bull-ish. So is it true? Like we be thinking we be getting over on y'all, but y'all know.
Yeah, it's very true. Like men just aren't as confrontational as women. So a woman will just kind of she'll let it build up, and then I bring out all the things at once. Whereas a man is just like, I'm not worried about that. Like I'm not stupid. Like I know what she's doing, and it's just like for men, it's like it's not even worth going into it. Like she got that one, but I know. So yeah, we know.
Y'all be knowing.
We be knowing.
And you see how I just broke girl code like that? Like I just told on like.
You did.
I'm not saying every girl does that or every woman does that, but a lot of us, we've done it before, I can admit.
I would say the majority, at least once.
T, what's an example of something that women may feel like they're pulling the wool over on a guy's face or however that saying goes? Like, what's one example?
Okay, here's one. I would say maybe a woman who does want to settle down, want to be in a relationship. She's fronting like that's not what she wants, and she just wants to mess around because that's what she thinks he wants.
That's a good one.
That's a really good one. Like,
so
that's one. That's one that a lot of men, like we be knowing, but men, generally speaking, I'm not speaking specifically to me. Generally speaking, men, we have this, like we understand and see. Okay, she likes me, and I know a woman that likes me, and I know a woman who just wants to sleep with me. And so men will be like, I'm gonna see how it plays out. I'm gonna see if she speaks up, and he might start doing little small things to kind of just see if it's really real. Like he might mention another woman, just kind of in passing, not even really like he's involved with her like that, but just, little small things and see how she reacts. Now she'll play tough right at that moment. Like, oh, you got that? Well, I got this, but then, he'll get that I find it mighty funny text, Oh, I hate that text. I find it mighty funny, man. It's never funny.
I find it funny that
I just find it mighty funny that I've never laughed at those.
That's a good one. Okay.
That's
a good one.
So, I think it's a pretty well-known fact, I'd say, that women have that female intuition. It's something that we hear a lot about. I have my own thoughts about men having a male intuition that is kind of less well-known, most likely because of bro code. How do you feel about that, Lucky? Is there a male intuition? Do you guys just know things? But like you said before, you don't really express it because you guys are less confrontational. Is that why?
That's part of it. Now, and I feel like a woman's intuition is more of an emotional thing, and a man's intuition is more so like it's logical. So just personally, and I'm gonna kind of go deep a little bit, and I hope I don't go too deep, but I'm gonna give you a little insight on men. Okay. Most men, and they may not use this phrasing for it, but most men, intuition is more like an algorithm in the sense that how like an algorithm just kind of grabs all the data and it just finds the patterns. So men's intuition is like an algorithm. So men notice everything. Like and women say that men are creatures of habit, but women are truly creatures of habit. Like women, they are so repetitive and so they do the same things. So a man, he notices the pattern of what a woman does.
Oh God.
And then when that pattern changes, like I said, a man, he might feel it. He might even see it. Might even say something to himself about it. But he's not going to bring it to her. He's going to just sit back. Like, okay, maybe it's coincidence. And it keeps going. And then it just, after a while, it's like, okay, yeah, this ain't right.
Mm.
Now, and also just as far as the entire aspect of the term intuition, with that term, when you hear the word intuition, you immediately think woman's intuition.
Right.
So men, generally speaking, aren't going to ever admit that they have those kind of feelings, because it's like that's a stigma that a woman is supposed to have.
Right. Mm.
And unfortunately, just as a man, and let me say it like this. So women are groomed by society to be more in touch with their emotions and whatnot. And men,
Right.
knowingly or unknowingly, are encouraged to disconnect from that part of themselves. Like, you stick your chest up, hold your head up, boy, quit all that crying, like all these kind of things. It's like men are groomed at a very young age to get away from that. So from what I, understand, and I'm not, any level of relationship expert, but women want a man who's sensitive and in touch with his feelings and emotions. But it's like once he starts to, because intuition, whenever it comes out in these situations of relationships, it's emotion. And so it's like, he's so sensitive. So it's like, it goes back to that, you can't have both. Like, which one do you want? And so we men generally can't be connected to that part of themselves. Well, I don't want to say can't. Men are groomed to not be connected to that part of themselves, because it comes off by society and everyone else like, oh, he's sensitive, he's soft, or whatever the case may be. And I know for myself, in my younger days, I used to I would combat that part of me to be like, man, I'm not telling you how I feel. Like, I used to say, I'm not an R&B singer. I'm not an R&B singer. I'm not doing that. And so that's honestly, it's one of those things. It's almost like a toxic trait in the aspect of that. So the term intuition, it comes out for men because it's an emotional trait, an emotional state of mind. It's like, I can't be that. So it's that's just my little small take on it.
Is there a word that could be better used for men?
Instinct, probably.
Okay.
Probably instincts.
I got it. But
I think that would fit better.
I feel like the rundown that you just gave us is kind of like, if you've already had built a relationship with the person, you know what I mean? Like, if you kind of already know the person, I feel like you guys kind of have an instinct also for somebody who you've never even, for example, let me give you an example. I feel like you guys can read vibes as well too. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It might be a girl who you might be interested in or whatever, and this is the first encounter that you're having with her, and on the outside she may be happy and bubbly or whatever, but I feel like you guys can feel if that's not the case. Maybe she's that depressed or has bad energy,
right?
And I feel you guys can feel that as well.
Yes,
it's true.
That's 100% true. Like, it's just, and it's just like, and I think that's more of a human emotion, because I know women feel it too. So that's one of those things that just, if you're really in tune with yourself on any significant level, you can feel someone out just on the nonverbal, because a lot of people go with the, oh, they said this, and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm hearing what they're saying, but I'm also watching what they're doing. I'm also listening to my inner spirit tell me, something's off about this person.
Right.
Like, yeah. So it goes into all those things.
I agree. I finally got my question answered. I'm super excited about that.
Right.
Now, don't take this information and try to use it on someone.
I'm gonna run with it.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
For real.
No, I'm playing.
Don't run with it. Like,
But
fellas, I did not snitch. I kept my head strong. They didn't shake me.
Nah, because to be honest, with you guys' podcast, like, I'm already taking notes. Like, okay, so this is what they think. Okay, so this, like, so it's too late. It's too late. You already
okay. Quick question. What's the most significant note you've taken from our podcast?
Can't share that.
You can share that.
Yeah,
you can share that.
I can't share that on this podcast. T said that we might meet our husband on this podcast, so I might need this information to manipulate a situation.
well, see, that right there, that's not the way to go about it. Don't manipulate the situation. don't manipulate the situation. Like, we're in the trust tree. We all
keeping that
family.
in.
We're all family. You can tell me
Yes.
it's just us talking. What have you taken? What have you taken from the pod?
That's a big secret. I have to sleep on that, so I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Ooh, part 2.
Yeah. Now on part 2, I'm having my tag team partner with me.
Yeah.
I'm having my tag team partner with me on part 2.
Oh gosh,
Absolutely.
you're excited. Guys, I have a quick question. So it kind of goes off what you asked him, QueenTee, about like the instinct when they first meet a woman. So we've actually had someone in the streets. That's what we call our listeners. We've had someone actually write us an email, and we were gonna do it a little later in another episode, but I feel like why not get his perspective. So anyway, she's a woman that has like low self-esteem, and she meets guys and she feels like they can read that from her and they kind of use it to their advantage. So she wanted to like get some tips, but I just want to know, do you think that's like something that's actually true? Like, do you guys ever, well, maybe your friends or people that you know, do you meet women and you're like, she kind of low on herself, I'm not going to treat her as good because she don't treat herself as good?
I'm not going to say that, but I will say that yes, it is something that can be read. Like I'm really big on confidence. If I meet someone, that's the first thing I can kind of notice is their confidence level. If they really, and it has to be authentic confidence. It can't be the facade you're putting on because it's a hot girl summer. It can't be that. It has to be like, just real, true, pure confidence in yourself as a person, not just as, a nice body, a pretty face, but inside and outside. So a guy can read that, and usually, unfortunately, there are a small group of guys who take advantage of that. Like most guys, they're gonna.
We see what you did there, but continue.
What did I do? What do you mean?
What continue?
So I would say like a 1% of guys, they take advantage of it, and they use it, and then so that's when it comes up with the narrative of guys aren't right, and men aren't good, and this is like that small percentage of men who a woman chose because he showed her a little attention because he's seen that, hey, her confidence isn't where it needs to be. I can manipulate this. I can get something out of this situation. And so then that paints the narrative for all men, unfortunately. But we can see it.
That's a good answer, but let me just say, don't come on our show with fake statistics because that was not it. Like, don't do
I'm gonna have to. I don't have my statistics in front of me, but I do feel like that was a very accurate statistic. I feel like
you can't be
like 1%.
Small.
Yeah, very small percent. Like less than 1%. Less than 1%. Like fellas, I'm looking out for us, guys. I got us. I promise I got us.
Wow.
Anybody has any other questions or comments, concerns?
Oh, I have a question for you, ladies. What's the thing that your intuition got absolutely wrong?
That's a good question.
Don't get quiet now.
All right. The question was, when has our intuition been wrong?
No, dead wrong. Not just wrong, dead wrong. Dead wrong.
Dead wrong?
Dead wrong.
I'm gonna be 100. I can't think of one time right now.
Oh,
yes.
I'm keeping it 100.
No, you're keeping the girl code. You're keeping the girl code.
Here's the thing.
She be knowing.
Listen, here's the thing. We be knowing, like we know. We just make dumb decisions based off
facts,
things going on in our lives. It could be loneliness. It could be self-esteem or whatever. But at the end of the day, we know.
Wow.
But do you know, or do you think you know?
We
be knowing.
We know.
It is always
like
red flags.
It's no joke. And okay, there's been times where we had the We Are Here's and we're giving advice to the other women or whatever, and we're telling them, not to make hasty decisions. You know what I mean? Because we know.
Right.
just to cover yourself and not, to jump to conclusions or whatever, or make decisions that are too hasty, get all the facts. But we be knowing, so it's so hard
It's
not
hard.
to jump to conclusions because we know.
Girl, ain't it hard when you just know, but you're trying to give somebody a fair chance, but you already know? Like, it's hard.
Absolutely. And they be lying. And it's like, why are you lying? Because I know.
Interesting. Okay. So now, MissKay, you didn't answer the question.
I be trying to get out of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm gonna answer it in a roundabout way. So to go off what my sister just said, we be knowing. So here's how it goes. I'll use myself for an example. Okay, this is real vulnerable, but I'm gonna say it. Okay, so there's times where myself or other women meet a guy and red flags. Did you listen to red flags? Our red flags episode, Lucky?
I did.
Okay. Oh, you a part of the streets.
I am.
Okay. Remember.
Okay. All right. So we get these red flags, we see them, but it's just like our intuition, it spots them ASAP, but we're just like, no, like I'm just gonna push past those red flags. Nope. I'm gonna just, give him a chance. And we continue to do that, and then the relationship ends based on what we already knew in the beginning. So that's the tough part, because I'm gonna be real. I've made a decision to give any guy a fair chance, and he knows this. We talk about it all the time. Like, it's like it's a fresh start. Like, there may be some red flags, there may be some some strings attached, but we're all humans, so I'm gonna give him that chance. But once those red flags come up, like, we just keep them in our back pocket. But it's like my intuition is like, but I just keep pushing through, and then I'm not gonna lie, it ends up being like the red flags, like that. That's exactly why it ended. No shade.
Okay. I got one more question, and it was something that you guys brought up. I think both of you might have brought it up. I know Kay brought it up. So with that being said, as far as giving a guy a chance, why? If you know what it is, why are you still giving him a chance?
Because you have to prove it to yourself, almost. And you have to give people chances. Like, you can't go through life being like, nope, F you. Like, you just gotta prove it to yourself. Like, okay, at least I did try.
Exactly. And you just never know. Like, it's sad because sometimes people go through things 1,000 times, just like maybe this will be the time. And it's sad, but it's life. But I have a question. Do you guys think that every person you meet has red flags? Or is it just who I meet? Because maybe I'm meeting just the weirdest people. Does everybody come with red flags? Or do some people...
You mean like everybody that we meet, like, in a dating scene? Like somebody that we're interested in?
I mean, it could go just platonic as well. But let's just say dating. Like, every person that we meet, do they all come with some red flags? Like, let's say you get to know a person and you know them for like 2 weeks. Like, by then, do you have like 5 red flags? Or like, do people actually meet people and there's like no red flags for a while?
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I would say if I meet someone and in 2 weeks they have 5 red flags, that's a lot. In 2 weeks, in 2 weeks, five red flags in 2 weeks. That's a lot. Now, with that being said, yes, there's no such thing as perfection, and some people, a lot of things that we fail to kind of really comprehend and understand in the dating thing is the mental aspect of it. Man, people come with mental red flags. People have things that past relationships may have hurt them. Issues with their parents may affect them in a negative way. Like, so it's all these things that come with it. So yes, everyone comes with red flags. It's just a matter of how you manage them. And if it's something that you as the individual on the other side is willing to deal with. Like, for me, I'm pretty open and understanding, but there are a couple of things I'm just like, no, that's a deal breaker right there.
Right.
So yeah, I think everyone comes with them. It's just how you want to deal with them.
T.
I feel like everybody at least comes with yellow flags.
Okay.
At least, like, everybody has something. Everybody's bringing something, with them. Like, and if they're not, then something's wrong. Like, everybody has been through something. Everybody.
Right.
Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I definitely do believe that at the very least, somebody's going to come with a few yellow flags, and it's up to you to decide if that's something that you can deal with or not. Like Lucky said, 5 red flags, 2 weeks. That's beef. That's really beef. Like, we got, if we still going after 2 weeks, we got to rethink ourselves. Like, we got to look at ourselves.
True.
But yeah, that's my answer to that question. What do you think, Miss K?
I have a follow-up question for y'all, and then I'll go off of that. Are yellow flags, red flags, and baggage like all the same thing or no?
I feel like baggage and yellow flags are the same thing.
Okay.
I feel like red flags is like toxicity.
Right, like danger.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So let me backtrack then. I said that I meet a lot of guys with red flags, so I'll backtrack. There's a lot of, but see, baggage is different to me because I just feel like we're all human. Like, especially at this age, I'm 31. Like, everybody has baggage. Like, you know, I mean, even a freaking 22-year-old, you know, is gonna start having some baggage. And
right.
I always say, like, it's nothing wrong with having baggage. It's just how you pack it and unpack it. So,
True.
you know, we're human. Like, it's okay. I don't expect this perfect person because I'm not. So I'll say maybe they have like 2 major red flags and then like, you know, I guess yellow flags, you know. But what was the question?
You said, do we feel like everybody comes with red flags?
Okay. Yeah, I think we all pretty much answered it. Like, well, no, because everybody ain't toxic. But I think we all have some toxic tendencies that we may act on at certain points in our life.
True.
Right? Like,
True.
I mean, I'm not saying, yeah, let me shut up. But yeah, I think that. But I think we all come with that because we're just human. But we definitely all come with some baggage. I just feel like we got some more for this intuition. Like, I just feel like I have so many questions. Let me at least look for one more.
Lucky said he did have some notes. So was there anything you up, Lucky?
Pretty much in my notes, I've gotten everything I wanted to get off. Like I was able to do it. But if there are more questions to be asked, like I said, I'm not a snitch, but you know, whatever insight I can give, I'll give.
I got one.
Okay.
At what point do men, this 1% of men that we're talking about, at what point do they, like, when they meet a good woman, like how many good women do y'all got to go through before y'all like, all right, this is it? Like, why y'all keep meeting all these good women and it's just like, like it's disposable and it ain't?
Oh my goodness. That's a great question. And I'm going to answer this just strictly from me. I can't answer for anybody else. Like I said, if you've listened to my pod, then you probably heard the stories of things I've done in my past. A lot of those things were to amazing women. Like I have been lucky, and yeah, no pun intended in my name being lucky. Like I have been lucky to never run across a woman who was just flat out trash. Yeah, she might have done some things that I didn't agree with, and some things that just in the long run didn't work for me, but just an all out trash woman, I've never ran across that. So I don't think it's a number of women per se. I just think it's something like even with that, it's like I know women, generally speaking, feel like, oh, if I love him enough, he'll change or he'll do right by me, and it's not. That is just is within him. He has to be like, okay, I'm tired. Like I'm tired of breakups. I'm tired of going through the dramas. I'm tired of cheating. Like there's nothing out there for me. Like this woman is good. She loves me. She's doing the things that I need. She's attending to my love languages. So it comes to that point where you have to look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, this is it. Like so yeah, there's
men are ready to settle down when they're tired.
I'm not gonna say tired, but when I say tired, I mean like tired of the foolishness, not like tired of just tired of running around, just tired of all the toxic things that come with, having these issues of messing with women who are really, generally good women and hurting them. Like that stuff takes a toll on you. So I'm not gonna say that a man feels like, oh, I've gotten to a point where I don't want to do it anymore because I'm older, but it's just like you have to. So for me, and I'm trying not to go off too far, but for me, it took me to just stop dating altogether. to really sit back and I had to have a conversation with myself to be like, dude, what are you doing, man? Like this isn't what you should aspire to be. Like, you have all these pretty good qualities. And one thing that women used to always tell me was, you have so much potential to be a good man. Like, why won't you do it? And I had to realize those things myself. Like, I do have these potentials. I do have these talents and these gifts and all these things. It was like I had all the things to be that good man, but I just didn't want to. I didn't have the heart for it. And so I had to really sit down with myself and take time off from everything and everybody and actually get to know myself. That was something, it was a hard pill to swallow when you got to sit down and you're 30, 31, 32, and you find, okay, I got to get to know myself. Like it was a hard pill to swallow because I didn't like, what I had done before that, like up to that point. And so it took those changes to realize, okay, I like this. I don't really like that. I did these things for this reason. So I got to figure out how to get that reasoning out of my head, out of my life, so that when I do come across a good woman and a woman who I feel like is my equal, like I'm really big on that. Like, it's balance with me. So once I run across a woman who's my equal, then I'm going to do what needs to be done. And even with that, like, I still have anxieties and fears that I may not be enough, not because not because of like, anything other than like infidelities and whatnot. I mean, I'm human, so things do happen, unfortunately. But it's just one of those things, like, when you look at the past you've had and you be like, man, like, I don't want to do this to her. So it's that kind of thing. It's not a matter of the women, it's within you.
It seems to me that there's a lot of women who are just naturally good women, but for men, it seems to me that it takes work for them to be good men.
What do you consider a good woman? Let's start there.
That's a good one, T.
Thanks, Ren. When I think of a good woman, I think of somebody who is faithful, who speaks life into her man, is willing to start a family, can speak in his love language and vice versa. Just like, and I think the same thing is the same for a good man. Maybe it depends on the relationship, though, because everybody is not looking for the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes.
So sometimes a woman who's looking for a provider in a man, or I can just be looking for somebody who wants to make me laugh. Whatever. It depends on the relationship and the people.
Right.
But for me, I just feel like when it comes to men, there's always like this period where, like you said, they have to get tired, or they have to like take a hard look at themselves and mature and then be ready. I guess it's the same for both, though, now that I'm thinking about it. Like,
yeah, it goes both ways.
Because there's a lot of people who rush into relationships and they're in relationships, but they're not ready for it. And that can be men.
Okay, I have a quick point on something that just, it popped in my head as you were talking. So the reason that people perceive women as good women up front is more so because women look at relationships as, okay, I'm grooming this to be my husband. And men, generally speaking, especially younger men, it's about, okay, I want to sleep with her.
Right.
So they're not looking at the big picture. It's like, okay, I got the right now. I want to sleep with her. Like, because when a man sees a woman, he's thinking with his outer self, generally speaking, like, ooh, she look good. A woman, she sees a man like, he has potential to be something. Like, we could work whether we, so that plays into it also. So I think that's why a lot of times men have to get older to actually start looking at women in that aspect of, okay, we can build something like his. She and I can build some things. We can make a life together. And it kind of gets past that aspect of, I want to sleep with her. So I think that plays into it also.
So do you think that women should generally date older?
I don't know. That's a good one. I think women should date who they feel like they're going to be most compatible with. If it's an older man, then so be it. If it's a man her age, then hey, that's fine too. Now I don't want y'all out here couging. Like, don't date a 20-year-old.
Oh.
Don't turn to cougars.
Lord.
Woo!
How's the
I mean,
weather? T, how's the weather?
whoa. Who got her cougar? Which one of you is a cougar?
I have a meme that I
How's the
found.
weather? Where are you at, Tennessee? Is it hot
Nope.
over there?
Guys,
the weather's great.
I found this meme that goes with what you guys were saying. Most men are not running away from a great woman. They are running away from parts of themselves they are not willing to fix to deserve her.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't y'all just say that though, right? So,
but you guys skipped over the question I just asked.
The weather? We said it was great.
No, the weather. We're not worried about the weather right now. We're podcasting.
Yeah, I'm in ATL. It's kind of hot down here.
Girl.
Oh man, no, it's a little rainy here, but it's cool. So yeah,
Dang.
which one of you got somebody saying yes, ma'am to you?
We'll let you know that in part 2.
Oh, my tag team partner's gonna grill this one, so you might want to get it out.
I'm a little bit scared of when.
Yeah,
like
he's gonna grill. He's gonna grill.
Oh no. Okay, I'll say it.
Guys.
I should say it now.
Mm-hmm.
I was a cougar before, but now we're gonna wrap it up.
Whoa!
But now we're gonna wrap it up.
No, I need a story. I need a story behind this before we wrap it up.
You got a story?
I need a story.
T, you got a story? For cougar days.
I was a cougar by accident.
There you go. That's
accident.
A good one.
How
Let's
so?
hear that.
No.
Why not? I want to hear about the accidental cougar.
Part 2. We're ready for
winning.
I'm holding you to it.
All right, cool. Before we go, Lucky, we have this segment on our podcast where it's called Let Us Put You On.
Okay.
And we choose a song and we let, the streets know about the song and, if it means something to us or whatever, or, just a song that we really like.
Okay.
So is there anything, it could be new or old, a song that you want to put the streets on to?
Actually, yes.
Oh, cool.
Let me find the actual. I don't want to mess up the title and whatnot.
Yeah, you can't do that.
I don't want to do that. So, actually, I got one off the top of my head, and it's a song that really, really means something to me. Even, before this situation became, something of note. So, if you've listened to our earlier podcast, like I was so high on Nipsey Hussle, like I was so high on Nipsey Hussle, and on the Victory Lap album, the first song, the Victory Lap intro, his first lines are, "I'm prolific, so gifted," and that is like my life story. So that right there, if you've heard the song, you may have heard it, but actually listen to what he's saying, like that. I literally listen to that song every morning. I've done that for over the last year now. Every single morning, that is my song on the way to work.
Nice.
And it makes me that makes me smile.
Okay.
Like that makes me smile. So if I'm putting you guys onto that, like I said, I know that people have, since his untimely passing, that went back and heard these songs. But that's one that I want everyone to actually listen to.
Right.
And just, he speaks about manifestations and hard work and, just being gifted and using your gifts for, the best of your ability and whatnot. So I'm putting you guys onto that. I'm putting the streets onto that one.
Okay.
What's the name of it again?
It's the Victory Lap intro.
Okay. Well, streets, we have our playlist on Spotify called the Chapter 30 Podcast playlist. And we're going to add this song, Victory Lap by Nipsey Hussle, onto that playlist. Thank you so much for putting this on.
No problem.
Anything else you want to say to the streets before we go?
Yeah.
Where can they find you?
Huh?
Where can the streets find you?
I was about to do that. So yeah, you guys can find me on my personal Instagram at I_am_LuckyLefty. You can also find my podcast partner, my co-D, Winnie, at Drinking 4 Sanity 32. And you can find us as a collective on Cashmere Thoughts Podcast. All these are on Instagram. Follow us. We have fun. Like we are two totally different people, but we balance well and we make it work to the best of our ability. So you guys can find us there. Once again, you can find the podcast on all major podcast platforms. Like us, rate us, review us. If you don't like it, then tell us about it so we can get better. If you love it, tell us about it so that we can get better. Like,
Facts.
we are trying to get better. So once again, thank you guys for having me. And I promise you, the next time you guys hear me, I'll have my tag team partner with me, and we getting these stories out of you guys.
Thank you for coming. It was a pleasure.
It was such a pleasure. Thank you.
Oh no, I'm glad to be here.
Anything for the street?
As always, streets, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate you guys. Go check them out. Continue checking us out, and we love you. Good night.
Love you, streets. Bye.
Peace.
Bye. Thanks for listening, guys. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us.
And don't forget to follow all of our social media platforms linked below. And remember, peace, love, and perspective.